So I was asked to make a video about what happens with evictions in Philadelphia once you file in court. So we're at the stage now where you have your rental license, you have your CRS, you have your lead, you filed for diversion, you got your TFA, you actually filed in court. So so we're starting from there. So when you file in court, when you tell the attorney, hey, we got to file this, you send all the proper documentation, you're going to get a court date roughly 30 days from the time that happens. Now this varies a little bit depending on what is going on, how backed up the court system is, but let's say it's January 1st, you're done all the other stuff, hey, file in court for me. You're probably going to get a court date around February 10th or so, give or take. Now, what's going to happen at the first hearing? So it depends, a couple possibilities. Now, if the tenant does not show up to court, they don't show up to court, you automatically win. You get a judgment. Now, it used to be where most tenants did not show up. The climate today is most tenants are showing up. So what happens if they show up in court? So if they show up in court, chances are they're going to ask for a continuance. This happens almost all the time. They can ask for a continuance for any reason whatsoever. The scheduling doesn't work for them. The husband's there, the wife's not there, the wife's there, the husband's not there, whatever. They don't have a lawyer, they want to get a different lawyer, and they're going to get a continuance for any reason whatsoever. This is going to take roughly about 30 days or so, maybe 45 days. So your next date is probably going to be somewhere around March 20th. On March 20th, depending on what's going on, they may ask for another continuance. Now here they have to have a pretty good reason for a continuance. So let's say they fired their lawyer couldn't show up, they have to get a new lawyer. Maybe, again, one party showed up, the other party didn't show up. If there's a good reason and the judge feels like being accommodating, he might grant another 30-day continuance. So this, again, 30 days isn't really 30 days. It's usually closer to 40 days. So this takes us to probably the end of April, early May. Okay, so now you get to court. So most cases do not go in front of a judge. If there are 300 cases in the morning, which sometimes there are, only 8-10 go in front of the judge. Most don't. What happens is the tenant and the landlord negotiate out an accommodation called a judgment by agreement, where they agree on certain terms. Sometimes it's the tenant leaving, it's the amount of rent owed, it's a repayment period. Once you agree on that, that becomes part of the court record. And if you can't agree on that, you go in front of the judge and you both present your cases and the judge makes a decision one way or the other. Now, it's safer to do a judgment by agreement. That's why most people do them, because you never really know what a judge is going to say. You may think you're 100% correct in what the law is, and you may not be. Or you may be, and the judge may feel bad for the tenant. So you really don't know what you're going to get when you go in front of a judge. That's why most of the time it doesn't happen. But it does happen sometimes, and sometimes you just can't come to an accommodation. I happened to go in front of a judge yesterday, got what I wanted, but I had a very favorable judge. A lot depends on what judge is on the bench. There are certain judges that are more reasonable, that are going to go by the law. There are certain judges that are, they're going to feel bad for people and they're going to let their emotions sway them. So you have to know that going in. What judge do you have? If you do have an unfavorable judge, you do not want to go in front of them. You want to either get your own continuance, or you want to get a judgment by agreement. So sometimes I will be more accommodating or less accommodating with the judgment by agreements, depending on who the judges are. So there you go. You got your judgment. I think that's a long enough video for now, and I'll do another video for what happens next.